Welcome to Exploitation Reviews and me, Rob. And today, Rashad is back, and we are going to talk about some hidden gems of black cinema. Over on Rashad's channel, he's been doing a deep dive into lesser-known films, so I thought I would invite him over here, and we can both help spread the word. So, Rashad, thank you very much for joining me. Let's get started. I'll turn it over to you. What's the first film you would like us to check out?
First film, hold on, let me turn my phone down here. The first film that I want to talk about that I think it was kind of known if you're a fan of the genre, but for those that don't know, JD's Revenge with Glenn Turman. So I reviewed that last Halloween as part of my Blaxploitation horror movies and never seen it, and it was very unique. It's a very unique, different type of film that I don't know would get made today. All right, so unlike Blackula and Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde or whatever, which are just black versions of the classics, this is its own thing about a man that comes possessed with the spirit of a pimp. Who the hell came up with that? but it's brilliant.
It's such a great idea.
And it also it's a shame that Glenn Turman never became like a household name, because he actually he did his thing in that movie. Like, he killed it. Like, to me, after that performance, he should have been a leading man after that. So I don't know why that didn't happen, because it was such a great performance. But yeah, that's my first pick, JD's Revenge.
He's also in Cooley High, isn't he?
Yeah, he did Cooley High. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cooley High was right. I think that was right around the same time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they're both kind of like late entry blaxploitation films.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, he just had like small parts of other movies, and he got stabbed in the butt by a gremlin. So that was my that was my introduction to the actor, was him getting stabbed by a gremlin.
Right. Right on. My first pick for us is the Candy Tangerine Man. This is, there's lots and lots of, pimp blaxploitation films. This one's pretty interesting because the pimp in the story, played by John Daniels, who was in a few other blaxploitation films, during the weekend, he lives out in the suburbs. He's a loving father, devoted husband, and then, he tells his wife that he has to travel for his job or whatever. But his job is to go into the city Monday through Friday and be a ruthless pimp. It's a pretty entertaining movie. And one thing that's a little bit special about it is it's kind of bloody. A lot of blaxploitation films weren't very bloody. This one has some... I don't know if we'd exactly say it's gore, but it has some bloody sequences in it, which was a bit of a surprise. But it's a fun movie. His car is really cool. It's this orange and yellow thing that has machine guns, in the headlights. It's pretty awesome. It's a bit wild.
I never heard of that one.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
You can find it on YouTube. It took me forever to find it, and eventually I found it on YouTube. But, one thing that kind of sucks about the YouTube one is someone has taken out whatever the original music was and then replaced it with, more modern music. What kind of sounds like, I don't know, that late 90s, early 2000s, R&B, Bone Thugs and Harmony, that kind of stuff. So that's a bit weird. But it is on YouTube, and you can watch it, which is pretty cool, because it's very hard to find.
Right. They did that with Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde too. The first version I saw, they actually replaced the audio with modern music. It fit. So if I didn't know any better, I'm like, damn, it does fit the movie. But yeah, it took a couple of years to find the original version of that. So yeah, I feel your pain on that one.
Yeah. I'm still looking for the original version of the Candy Tangerine Man, but I'll find it eventually.
Okay. Yeah, never heard of that one. Okay, so gets my number 4.
Let's do it.
Penitentiary.
Oh, yes. Yep.
70s, so this is near the end of the blaxploitation genre, but not a movie that I would defend. So if you watch it and say, what in the world is this? I'll be like, I totally understand. But I love the movie, and that there's kind of a message in there. It's about Too Sweet, played by Leon Isaac Kennedy. So he was another one. They were grooming to be a star, but unfortunately his acting chops didn't match his looks. So he looks the part, Actually, when I first saw the movie, I thought he was Sugar Ray Leonard because he
He
has
looks
like
a lot like
resemblance.
Sugar Ray. Yeah.
Right, right. So, unfortunately, the man can't act.
No.
This is probably his best performance. So, yeah. So he's falsely accused of committing a crime he didn't commit. Gets thrown to the penitentiary with a few other inmates or whatever. But unlike himself, the other inmate Eugene is a softie. So of course, when you go to prison and you show that you're soft, they're gonna take advantage of you. And Two Sweet was not that guy. Like, dude, I'm fighting for my manhood. I'm fighting for my life. And there's like this long 10-minute fight that he has with the character of Half Dead that went on forever. Brutal, bloody fight, realistic. At the end, they were both like sweating like they were actually fighting, and won the respect of everybody up in there. You know what I mean? So it's a boxing movie. It's a survival movie. Of course, a prison film shot on a very low budget. Shout out to Jama Fanaka. And yeah, so that's my number 4 pick, Penitentiary.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. Yeah, you and I did. When was that? That was last year. We did Penitentiary 3 on your channel. Yeah, that one is so wild. Yeah,
that was fun.
It's got that crazy like a dwarf that howls and attacks him in his cell. Yeah, that movie's nuts.
It was kind of. I mean, if you think about it, it was kind of a remake of the first one. Like it had the same exact formula as the first movie. And the funny thing about the series is, even though I'm a big fan of the first movie, but I'm like, come on, bro, you couldn't switch it up a little bit. Like the whole point of Penitentiary was him getting out, fighting for his freedom, getting out, have a happy ending. And then the second movie, it's like he had no reason to go back, except that the script said he had to go back.
Right.
So when he fights Big Jesse, it's like, okay, I'll fight him, but on one condition: we go back to the penitentiary. Why?
Why?
What's the reason?
I don't even remember in part 3 how he got back in.
He had a fight in the beginning of the movie, and he got somebody doped up his water. They put some kind of drug in it. It made him like super. It made him super strong and super crazy.
Yeah.
And he killed the guy. That's how he got back in there.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yeah, those movies are crazy. Good times, though.
Oh yeah. Love those joints.
My number 4 is Trick Baby. Trick Baby is it's based on a novel by Iceberg Slim. People might know that name now because Dave Chappelle has talked about Iceberg Slim novels in a few of his Netflix specials. But anyway, Trick Baby. So if you don't know what a trick baby is, well, I'm sure you know. But if the audience doesn't know what a trick baby is, it's a child of a prostitute. And in this case, the child, his father was white, and the child is, he's got a black mom, but he's white passing. So his street name is White Folks. And then he is teamed up with, his best friend. They're like, they're criminals, they try to pull things over, and they're trying to, outsmart the mob and get away from the police. It's a inner city, it's a crime story, but really charming characters, and I love the two friends, the Trick Baby and his best friend, who now the name escapes me. But yeah, a really cool movie. I'm a big fan of that one, and I don't think hardly anyone ever talks about this thing. Have you seen it?
No, honestly, I've never heard of that. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It also has one of the all-time great posters. It's really cool.
Okay. Can I find that on YouTube as well?
I might have watched that one on YouTube or a similar streaming site. And I think the first time I watched it, it had Indonesian subtitles or something, but I wanted to see it, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just watch it like this and look for a better copy later. Yeah.
Okay.
It's worth tracking down. It's a cool movie.
All right, so we're on number 3 now, right?
Yep, you're number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so this one here I just reviewed on my channel recently, and it's one of those ones that I just been digging for gems that I haven't seen, and that was the Spook That Sat by the Door. Bro.
Yeah.
That one blew me away.
Yeah, me too.
How in the world did I miss this movie, man? And it's such a powerful movie, just even the backstory of it, how they had the film pulled from theaters because they thought that brothers was gonna revolt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how close to home it hit. And it's
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
mean, it's not like it's based on. I mean, I guess it's kind of based on real stuff, but it's fiction. It's a fictionalized tale about what could possibly happen, but it's like a satire as well. So I don't understand how a satire slash work of fiction can be deemed as dangerous.
Mm,
I don't get it, but yeah, that movie was very powerful, very entertaining, especially for that time because movies in the '60s and '70s, though good, they can drag because back then they wasn't about fast pacing, but
right.
and I was in the whole time. Like, I never got bored. I never went to sleep. I'm notorious for falling asleep on movies.
Yeah,
I was up the whole time, man, and the message in there. So yeah, that definitely makes my top five.
yeah.
Any films. Yeah.
I love that movie. Yeah, I go back and forth what my favorite blaxploitation film is, and it's either that one or Coffee. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Spook. It's a great movie, and I think,
Right.
I mean, the pacing is that's good to mention. Like I don't remember his name, but the editor of that movie went on to be like a very well respected editor. I think he won an Oscar. I think he worked with Spielberg at some point.
Really?
He went on to great things.
Oh wow.
Yeah, wonderful movie. But yeah, it's awesome. Have you read the book? It's based on the book by Sam Greenlee, I think his name is.
No, I never read the book. No.
Yeah, me either. I should do that at some point. But yeah, he's a cool guy. Like, there's a bunch of YouTube interviews with him. He's a cool old kind of cranky guy. He's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I noticed too. I also read that a lot of actors' careers, like I guess they kind of got blackballed because of that movie.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, you're like, I don't recognize a lot of these actors. Like, yeah, because they couldn't get work,
Right.
because of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty revolutionary, subversive kind of movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I wondered, like, when I saw it the first time, and I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't seen it because I don't think very many people have seen that movie. But I wonder if that in some way inspired Fight Club. Like, there are some similarities, like with setting up like franchises. Where I was like, man,
Project Mayhem. Yeah.
yeah, I was
Project
like,
Mayhem. Yeah.
I wonder if
Okay.
like, what's the author of Fight Club? Chuck.
I
Something
can't remember his name.
with a
yeah.
P. I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, I wonder if he saw that or read Greenlee's novel and was kind of inspired. Yeah. I could see
Damn,
it.
that's a hell of a I never thought about that, bro. But now that you mention, I think about it. Yeah, I could definitely see the parallels between them, especially the Project Mayhem thing.
Yeah.
Good observation.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
but
like,
I know it was one of the movies that inspired Judas and the Black Messiah that came out 2021. So that's when I first heard about it. It said Uptight and the Spook Who Sat by the Door really inspired that film.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah.
why I had to look those two up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, the recent one. Is it good?
Judas and the Black Messiah, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those that'll piss you off, though. I mean, probably
Okay.
probably not on the level of Mandingo, but yeah, it will make you mad, especially knowing that actually happened. If you know anything about Fred Hampton, if you know Fred Hampton's story, it didn't end too well. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, I know the name. Wait, so what is the story? I know that name, Fred Hampton.
Well, Fred Hampton, he was in charge of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers.
Oh, right.
So,
yes.
Yeah, so yeah,
okay.
Huey Newton. What's the other guy? Huey Newton and his partner, his other main guy. I can't remember the name.
I don't remember either.
But Fred Hampton was over Chicago, and he was only 21.
Uh-huh.
He was very young, but the man was like way ahead of his time. So J. Edgar Hoover said he was, public enemy #1. Dangerous, yeah. So he made him a target.
Right.
And of course it's called Judas and the Black Messiah because kind of like Uptight, they took one of their own. They took a street brother, brought him in, trained him, and then put him out there and had him infiltrate the Black Panthers and set him up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I should check that out. Is it on like Netflix or?
I believe it's on Max. I want to say it's on HBO Max.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My number three. Yes, my number three is MMA. So same director as Penitentiary, Drama Fanaka. But MMA is a drama. It's a family drama about a teenager. Well, she's like a late teenager, maybe 17 or so, from kind of the country. And she moves to live with her aunt and uncle in, I think, L.A., so big city. So it's like country girl in a big city. Falls in love with a boy who's kind of up to no good. And, it's just a really sweet, like, family drama. And I really like the family dynamics in the movie. Like when the moms all get together to, in the kitchen and do each other's hair and smoke cigarettes. And it reminded me a lot of, like, my childhood of, like, the moms, like, hanging out in the kitchen. But yeah, it's a great movie. I like it a lot.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Drama Fanaka, man. I mean, very weird. I mean, weird brother, but he made some out there films, man. But shout out to Drama Fanaka, though.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
All right, so we're on number 2 now, right?
2 for you. Yep.
2 for me. All right, so number 2. I don't know if this is really a hidden gem, but this is one that people don't talk about enough, and you can't find it like really anywhere. I tried to get Anthony A. Perez to watch it, and he was like, "Dude, I can't find this movie." And I'm like, "Fuck, that's terrible." But Claudine,
Claudine,
Carroll and James Earl Jones, yeah. So not really considered Blaxploitation, but it did come out at the height of the Blaxploitation era. Mm-hmm. And it was just a different breath of fresh air. Blaxploitation was all about sticking it to the man and revolution, and we're not gonna take it from whitey no more. And this is just a simple family tale. Single mom, 5 kids. She's working day and night. You know what I'm saying? Really has no life. She meets James Earl Jones, who's a garbage man, falls in love. But the thing about it is, she really can't have what she wants because she's on welfare. So, if you know about the welfare system in the 70s, whatever you do, you're under a microscope. You have to tell them everything. And if you have a man, they're going to penalize you. They're going to consider it fraud. So when you're on welfare, you can't have a life. So they have to go through the struggle of making that work and dealing with Mr. Welfare. So yeah, just a sweet family film. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs is in there. He plays the oldest son, who is a revolutionary, and he's also bitter because every man that she's ever had ended up getting her pregnant and leaving her. So when James Earl Jones comes to the picture, it's like, nah, you gotta come in here and leave just like the rest of them ends did,
Mm-hmm.
So it just a well acted film, well directed film, has good production value, unlike a lot of the Blaxploitation films at the time. And to me, the highlight is the soundtrack by the GOAT, Curtis Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack to this movie, man. This is like my favorite, like besides Superfly, this is like my favorite 70s soundtrack like ever.
Mm-hmm.
So he produced the music, and Gladys Knight sung all the tracks on there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
if you haven't
cool.
seen Claudine, check it out.
Yeah. Curtis Mayfield. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's the GOAT. Dude, between him and Willie Hutch, man, they're like, those two are neck to neck.
Yeah, there's so many. We should do a video on Blaxploitation soundtracks at some point, because there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about there. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like Trouble Man and Black Caesar. Yeah. Great stuff.
Pay the cost to be the boss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, and then real quick, Claudine was actually supposed to be played by Cicely Tyson. She was the original choice for Claudine, and she turned it down because she didn't want to play, I guess because of all the negative black stereotypes that was going on at that time. She didn't want to play the part of a single black woman that has 5 kids from 5 different baby daddies. She didn't want to fall into that trap. She wanted to play a more positive role. So she passed up on the part, and Diane Carroll ended up taking it, and she got an Oscar nomination. So it worked out in her favor. Yeah.
Right. My number 2 is a really nasty movie, Fight for Your Life. This is a home invasion movie. Some escaped criminals led by William Sanderson plays the lead guy. And he is just, the nastiest most racist villain in any movie. It's so gross, like, watching him. His performance is amazing. A lot of people thought the movie was racist. I think these people just don't understand the movie. He's supposed to be the bad guy. I mean, it's like a horror film. It's a home invasion movie. We're not supposed to identify with him. But yeah, so he breaks into this black family's house. The father's a minister, and has got a nice, middle class family, and they just terrorize these poor people. Yeah, it's a really powerful movie. It also makes you extremely angry. Like, William Sanderson is very easy to hate.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's a fun movie to watch if you like these sort of like grindhouse pictures. It's designed to make the audience, get mad and throw their popcorn at the screen. That's the kind of movie it is, and it's very effective.
Oh, it sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's nuts and completely insane, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and,
okay.
I think more people know about this one now because Blue Underground, like the boutique DVD Blu-ray label, they put out a DVD of it. It's been a number of years now, but yeah, that I think kind of revitalized some interest in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have I should have been writing these down because I haven't seen any of these movies that you mentioned. And, but I'm sold, bro. On like the way you describe these movies, man. I'm sold. I want to see all of them.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Definitely, man. So my number one is a film that was sampled very heavily in a lot of the Wu-Tang albums. So I believe Ghostface used it in his album, Raekwon used it in his album. I want to say it was on 36 Chambers. So I heard like the snippets a lot of this movie before I actually saw the movie. So when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, that's from Wu-Tang, and that's The Education of Sonny Carson.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I have not seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, dope film. I was kind of flip-flopping between that and Youngblood because I really like Youngblood also. But with The Education of Sonny Carson, what really makes it stand out is the authenticity of it. Because see, when you watch Youngblood, you could tell they were really like ramping up the jive talk. Man, what you doing, sucker? Man, you a chump, man. I'll beat your ass. But Education of Sonny Carson they used real people. They used real people and like used real dialect. So, I'm not a street person, but I used to, see street people, and that's how they actually talk. You know what I'm saying? So the dialect, the interaction, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't over the top. It was real. You know what I mean? So that film is about, of course, Sonny Carson. He's a troubled youth, gets involved in gang activities, gets initiated, becomes part of the gang. Then it jumps to when he's older. Now he's like full in, and they have a battle with this rival gang. So it's like almost like Moonlight, how it goes into 3 different chapters of his life.
Uh-huh.
So it's trying to get into the gang. Now I'm in the gang, and then something happens where he goes to prison, and then he kind of turns it around. So kind of has like a Malcolm X-ish kind of
right.
twist to it. You know what I mean? So it's on YouTube for free. Check it out. You're welcome.
Cool.
And if you listen to the Iron Man album by Ghostface, if you listen to Only Built for Cuban Links, you'll recognize a lot of the little snippets of that film.
samples or whatever.
Little samples, yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah. My number one was also The Spook Who Sat by the Door, which we already talked about. So I'll pick a different one, and I'm going to go with Watermelon Man. So everyone, knows Sweetback's Badass Song, and then Watermelon Man was the movie that Melvin Van Peebles made before Sweetback, which got him some of the money to make Sweetback. So he made this for the studio system. It's a comedy starring what was his name? Godfrey Chambers?
Godfrey Cambridge, I think his name is.
Godfrey Cambridge? Yeah. And the story is, is a white guy, pretty racist white guy, wakes up one morning and he's a black guy. And from the description, you might think like, oh, it's going to be one of those where he learns his lesson and then turns white at the end and he's better. No, that's not the movie at all. It's much more like surreal and like powerful than the sort of like cliche story that we might expect. I do think at the beginning the movie is a bit silly. Godfrey's performance is a bit broad, but when it kind of settles down and like it starts to become more of a serious movie, I really like it a lot. Yeah. So I'll go with Watermelon Man for number one. But my real number one was Spook Who Sat by the Door.
But let's talk about how gangster Melvin Van Peebles was, because the original ending of the movie was what you just said, where he was supposed to wake up, it was supposed to all be a bad dream,
right?
You know what I mean? And his argument was, well, being black is it shouldn't be a nightmare. So
yeah.
So he filmed another ending. I think you know the story. He filmed the ending that we have now in the movie, but he told the studio that he was going to use the original ending. And then when they said, "Hey, what happened?" Oops, I thought I put the right one in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, ran out of time. Yep.
No, I love Melvin. Like Melvin's story is just so fucking. Excuse my language. His story is just so amazing and so inspiring. The dude had freaking balls of steel.
Yeah.
Because you gotta think this is like late '60s, early '70s, man. So to be a black filmmaker at that time, you had to get in line because there was so few of them. So if you did try to dare to be different or dare to think outside the box, get to the back of the line. No, we want obedient filmmakers. And Melvin was able to be obedient, but at the same time still get his way because he was able to manipulate the system. Gangster.
Yeah, he's super cool character. Yeah. And then I think that's also kind of like what you're talking about. That's why he left the studio system, right? Is he didn't want to be like the token black director. He wanted more independence. And then, so he took some money from Watermelon Man. And then I think Bill Cosby gave him some money to make Sweetback. To finish Sweetback.
Yeah, because he ran out of money, so he was in post-production. He didn't have enough money to do post-production, so he went to Cosby and took out a loan, and Cosby came through. And I don't know if you know this as well, but when he did Watermelon Man was the first of a 3-picture deal that he signed with Columbia Pictures.
Oh, wow, okay.
So at the time, that was like unheard of, especially for a black filmmaker. So they had a 3-picture deal. The money is ready for you, and he said, you know what? I want to tell my type of story. So when he pitched Sweetback to the powers that be, they said that's too radical. So he said, all right, you know what? I'll make it myself. I'll raise my own money. I couldn't hire any SAG actors.
Right.
So it was an uphill battle, man. If you haven't check out the movie Badass.
Yeah,
his son directed, Mario Van Peebles. Yeah, it tells that whole story, man.
Yeah, I was a latecomer to that. I bought it, maybe just like 2 or 3 years ago. Found it at a used DVD store and picked it up.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
But unfortunately, he got blackballed because when Sweetback came out, he got an X rating. And, so after that he was
deservedly X rating.
Well, yeah, and remember that was one of the taglines of the movie, rated X by all white jury.
Right.
When you watch it, you're like, this does need to be rated X.
Yeah, it does.
It was very 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 extreme. But he got blackballed because of that. So in the 70s, you really didn't see a lot of Melvin Van Peebles.
Right.
But luckily he was smart enough to. I think he did a couple of stage plays that he funded himself, and of course he kept all the money for Sweetback, so he wasn't hurting for money.
Right. Yeah, that did around 20 million at the box office or something.
Something like that. It held the record for a long time for the highest grossing independent film.
Right. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did really great business. Because it came out the same year as Shaft, right? It was like Shaft and Sweetback were like the big.
It was because of Sweetback because Shaft was supposed to be a white character because Shaft was based off of a book. Yeah, it was based off of a book, and so the character was supposed to be white. So when Sweetback came out and it did such good business, show business first. There's an audience for this. So black people go to the movies. Hey, that what's that? Shaft?
Yeah.
Let's make them black.
Yeah, put in that model. Yeah, Richard Roundtree.
Richard Roundtree. Yeah. And who's the other black director? No, not Ozzie Davis. The other guy that smokes the pipe. Yeah, get him.
Yeah, get him
directed.
Yeah, he took a lot of great photos. He can handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sweetback really kicked off the Blaxploitation genre, but his son Mario will be quick to say that even though it kicked off the genre, it's not technically a Blaxploitation film. Like, the whole reason he did Sweetback was to, I guess, break all the taboos that about black people in Hollywood. You know, 'cause back then they were, maids and butlers, and they were the sidekick. So we never seen black sexuality on film. We never seen black people stay up to white people on film. You know what I'm saying? So everything that we never seen black people do on film, that's what he wanted to do with Sweetback.
Yeah. Yeah, and the stage was kind of set, like, because Watermelon Man was successful, and that was before, and also Cotton Comes to Harlem did really great business.
Directed by Ozzie Davis.
Yeah, that's a great film. Yeah, there's so many familiar faces in that movie. It's amazing. Like Red Fox is there.
Red Fox was there. He had a cameo in there.
Yeah, and it's another Godfrey Cambridge movie. It came out the same year as Watermelon Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That one's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Melvin.
Yeah.
Passed away. You think he passed away? 2 years ago or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, pretty recent. Yep. Cool. Well, I think that about does it for us. Some great recommendations for everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for lending us your hidden gem knowledge. Right? What you got going on your channel? You got any more deep dives coming up?
Not yet. I'm gonna have to do some because I got today off from work, so I'm gonna be doing some digging. So I might find something, and you might see it later on this week. So as of right now, only thing I have planned is the Flash for Thursday. I'll be dropping that review Thursday, which I should have had last week, but had a little situation at the movie theater. If you watch the channel, you know what happened.
Right.
So no more early screeners for me, man. But so yeah, the Flash is what I got coming up, and that's about it. Let's see, I dropped a Transformers review a few days ago. The Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on Netflix. I just dropped that also. So check that one out and check out the documentary. Very, very powerful, very inspiring. I love Arnold. And that's about it so far, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll link Rashad's channel in the description. Please check him out. Lots of great stuff over there. And is one of the few people on YouTube that talks about old movies occasionally. So yes, we definitely need more people like him.
Because I'm an old man, that's why.
Exactly.
I'm an old man talking old movies.